afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gendera. I'm Gerowyn, and today I'm going to be dividing and prospering with comfrey. So let's dig it out of the ground and see how we go. Pry it open up with the fork, and inevitably I am going to have broken off roots, so this will come back again. This has been here for quite a while, so they're going to be eating it. And comfrey sends its taproot down quite deep. So I haven't got as many roots as I would have liked, but you can see that big long taproot that I've broken. But I'll definitely be able to get a few plants out of that, so that is fantastic. And it's not tragic that I'm going to have it come up again. So there's quite a lot of roots in here that have broken off as I've pulled it out. So there's some more. So, and I'll be able to use all these leaves for chop and drop, and I'll be able to put this back in the soil again anyway. So let's go over to the propagating table. Okay, so I'm over at my table and I've got my bit of roots, and I've taken all the leaves off the main mother plant. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop them into little sections about that big and pop them in the soil, and then once they've sprouted I'll separate them out. So let's get into it. Oh, and make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video, and I'll show you updates on the last lot of comfrey that I did too, and I'll leave a link up there and down in the description to the video where I propagated it last time. So let's get into it. Okay, so I've taken a leaf out of Instead Aquarius's book, because this container is just a little bit too small to be able to have too much in, and I don't want to put too much in there at a time. So I've used a pizza box like Robert from Homestead Aquarius to put my comfrey starts in, and I'm going to have to be really careful to make sure I keep this moist, and I'm going to have like a little plastic greenhouse over it. But I'm going to pop some soil over the top of it now, just to lightly cover it, and I'll be back. We'll go into fast mode. Okay, so that's the comfrey all planted. I might put a little bit more soil on top of that bit actually, because that was a fairly large chunk of root. And I'm going to put this into a pot, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've cleaned up the mother plant and I've popped it in there. So I chopped back all the stuff, popped it in there, so that's potted in there now. I've got all the roots in there and in there. I'm still yet to water that and put a little covering over the top of that, but I'll do that later. I wanted to show you the comfrey that I started sprouting 2.5 months ago. So when I did my last propagating video, that's one of the little things that I propagated, and this is another one. So it's making really good progress. That's another one, and that's another one, and they were only from like very, very small sections about that big, like what I've just done now, of a main plant. Now I'll show you the main plant, the mother plant, after I chopped it right back 2.5 months ago. I mean, it is in here with the red papaya and the moringa, which I'm trying to protect from frost during our Queensland winter. But yeah, it's coming back quite nicely. I have got a very thick layer of mulch over the top of it, but it came back really quick. But I didn't take as many roots off it as I have with this one. Okay, so I've now got the little plastic greenhouses over the top of those cuttings, and hopefully they'll do okay. I think they need the sun. They might be better in the shade. I can't remember how I worked it last time, but it does get a fair bit of sun here, so I may actually end up moving it. And I've put the mother plant over here. I will leave that here just because I can keep an eye on it closer. And I highly suggest that you go and check out Matthew's video. I'll leave a link up there. He's just potted out some of his seeds that he's raised. He's very excited, and he's planted out some more too. His trays over there. And Jonathan has just planted up all of his seeds that he grew from seed. We're not quite sure why Jonathan's have done so well in comparison to Matthew's, considering they were pretty much treated the same way. But Jonathan's planted up some more seeds as well. So yeah, check out his video. I'll leave a link over there, and have a great one. Look at it. He's getting very excited. His strawberries are doing very, very well. So I've got two very excited boys. But the other thing I've been doing today is I planted up some of my iris bulbs. So I've put them in there. I'll go get the packet. Picked up some of these Dutch iris mix bulbs. So that's what they look like. I haven't got them all planted out yet, but I have got some planted out. And I also picked up some daffodils, because my sister-in-law Lee loves daffodils. So I've planted the daffodils in there. I've never planted these before, so hopefully they work out well. Daffodils there, irises there, and I've also put some irises in here. Plus I put some irises in the pot up there, so I need to make sure I keep that moist. But yes, so check out some of my other playlists on other things that I'm growing. I'm really pleased with how the comfrey's growing, but I need a lot more comfrey because I'm working on building a food forest, and comfrey is an amazing dynamic nutrient accumulator because it sends its taproots down, right down deep into the ground, and it draws it up so that you can then chop and drop and leave it around your plants. So I've got comfrey planted in lots of different plates in my garden, and my soils here are very nutrient deficient. The people that have owned the property for the last 20 years they weren't gardeners, so they didn't plant things that gardeners would plant. So yeah, anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one. Bless you.